It's already been 2 years since I bought this pair of LawnMaster Cordless garden tools, the 48V 41cm cordless mower and the 24V 52cm cordless hedge trimmer. And I was really impressed with them after the first 4 or 5 weeks of ownership, and I did a YouTube review video up in the top right corner there if you want to check it out, of how it dealt with my lawn, which isn't exactly Wimbledon quality in the hedgerows, and also has to put up with Storm. And she is really the destroyer of lawns. But that was 2 years ago. I wanted to do a catch-up video because 2 years is a long time with a cordless power tool. Are the batteries still maintaining charge? Do I still love the products as I did back then? And there's the other thing, I've bought this. I said on the previous video that when my existing cordless trimmer died, I wanted to buy a new one. And well, it's keeled over, so there you go, the MX 24V cordless grass trimmer with detachable wheel kit. Because I've already got all the MX 24V batteries, I could buy the bare bones kit, so I managed to save a little bit of money. I didn't need to buy any extra batteries, and I can interchange these batteries between these 3 power tool products. I've got 2 chargers, 4 batteries, and it works a treat. But how well do they maintain their charge? These 4 batteries are all 2 years old, and that's 2 years of very hard graft. I've not spared the horses with these things in any way. And like I say, this is not centre court at Wimbledon. My garden is rutted, it's bumpy, and I've got grass growing on the driveway and across paving slabs, so I mow the paving slabs and the driveway. Now what I'm drawing your attention to here is the quick release levers. I've replaced these. These have come off my old Bosch Rotax system. The orange dial things at the bottom there, they're the original spec ones, but I prefer these ones. They just work better, you can fold it all up a lot quicker. There's plenty of room inside the grass collection bin, although the actual design of it collapses down a bit too easily. It's meant to collapse down, but when you're emptying it, it tends to like fall to pieces, and you always ended up putting it back together, which I don't particularly like with. The only damage I've got to it is just on the handle on the left-hand side. The bit of the foam is starting to just split a little bit after 2 years of hard graft. That's probably not too bad. But in general, it is stood up to everything I've thrown at it incredibly well. I've been very, very impressed with this. Now the batteries, it takes 2 24V batteries, so it's a 48V battery system in total. They come in and out very, very easily. The harder thing is actually putting the safety plug thing into those 2 little prong holes down there. It can be a little bit fiddly to get in there, but other than that, it's pretty easy. I am most impressed with how easy it is to adjust the height of this thing. It's a one-finger job almost. On my previous Bosch, it used to take skin off my knuckles, but this, wonderful. You can see how quickly it goes up and down with no effort whatsoever. In operation, it's really easy to throw this thing around. Despite it having 2 rather heavy batteries, it's quite well balanced, so you can move it around quite easily. And it takes a proper bashing. This bit of the lawn is in an atrocious state. It's where the dog takes off and lands. There's a step just there near where I'm walking past, and it churns up. The roots are starting to show through from the trees. It just takes a licking and it just keeps on going. This bit here, I'm mowing the actual paving slabs where grass has grown in, and the leaves as well. I use this as a leaf collector, and it works brilliantly. It really, really does. So I'll get leaves that fall off of the hedge and the overhanging trees here. And we do have a lot of overhanging trees, hedges and bushes, and it's all year round. It's not just during spring and summer like I'm doing here. We get leaves across our lawns all year round. September, October, November, December. It's literally every day I need to go out and sweep up all the leaves. So I use this. And it doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing or whatever, because it's a battery powered thing. It just doesn't matter if it's wet. So this is me in November of last year picking up all of the fallen leaves, and I do this daily. There's so many leaves that come down. This lawnmower is brilliant at this. It's almost better as a leaf collector than it is as an actual lawnmower. I really do think this is great. However, as I mentioned earlier on, I don't think the grass collector is quite as good. It's meant to collapse down easily for storage, but it collapses a bit too easily when you're using it. When you go to empty out the bin into your wheelie bin or something, then it just falls apart a little bit too easy. These 2 metal prongs here, which you can see me trying to get back into place, they come out too easily and a little bit difficult to get back in again, but you need them in to be able to put it back into the lawnmower at the back there. However, that to one side, I really do think that this is a really good lawnmower. I've been using this now for 2 years, so that's 3 seasons, plus the autumn season of picking up all the leaves, as I say, and I've really enjoyed using it. It's very easy to use. Although it's not the lightest thing in the world, it's well balanced and it's easy to throw around. You can make some pretty decent stripes on your lawn. If I was being devil's advocate, I'd say, could I go a little bit lower? I'd perhaps like it to go a little bit closer to the surface of the lawn. However, some might argue that I go too low anyway. And as you can see, I tend to cut even when it gets really, really long and go straight down, just because I haven't got the time to really go back down, up and down all the time to get a perfect finish. And on my lawn, I'm not going to get a perfect finish. I really am not. So for my requirement, this lawnmower really is perfect for me. And I do love cordless. I've really been converted over the last few years to cordless products. I was never too sure about them. But the fact that I can just run out into the garden, run up and down without having to worry about trailing extension cables all over the place, it's a game changer. It really, really is. And even the dog doesn't seem to bother about it. She just wanders out, puts a ball down in front of it and wants to play. With the vacuum cleaner, she hates it, but the lawnmower, not got a problem, as you can see. I'm going to show you once again the grass collection basket. It's gone again there. It's like every 2 or 3 times that I go to empty out the grass into the wheelie bin, and you turn it upside down, the grass falls out, you sort of vibrate it to get all the grass shards out, and those metal prongs, they fall out. It's just a little bit of a pain in the backside. It's one of the few things on this lawnmower that I would look at changing the design of. That and those quick release lever things that I've already replaced. But other than that, I really do like this lawnmower. Now, as for the battery life, despite them being now 2 years old, I continue to be incredibly impressed by the batteries that come with this thing. Compared to my Shark vacuum cleaners, which die after like 15-20 minutes, these things just keep going. It's just died now, so it's done my entire back lawn with the exception of just that little bit behind where the lawnmower currently is there. That's on a single pair of batteries, so I can now put these back on charge and swap them over with the other 2 and carry on lawn mowing. I'm just showing you there the little button on the side of the batteries to show you what the charge is like on the battery, so they're now dead. Right, we're going to move on to the new cordless grass trimmer that I've acquired, and this was literally the very first moment that I used it. I've not used it on any of the grass, not used it on the edge of the lawn at all. I decided to use it straight on this overgrown section of all sorts of junk that had grown around the base of this big tree in our back garden. And this is kind of a good example of how I use grass trimmers. Yes, I will edge the lawn a little bit, but really it's more of a scrub cutter that I use it for, because we get all sorts of things that grow, because we've got so many overgrowing things over the back of our garden. We just get all kinds of weeds and unusual grasses and growths, and it just grows in between the areas where I can't get with the cordless lawnmower. So like here around the bird table, I'm just having a bit of a strim in between the legs. I have a strim along all the see in the background on the right hand side, there's some dog toys there, so I just go around all the bits where I can't get to with the lawnmower. So it really does act as a bit of a scrub cutter, and that's where I've discovered a bit of a problem. Now, I had seen some reviews on Amazon, in fact, of people saying that the spool, the head of the spool, is a little bit exposed, and you can get things that wrap around the head of the strimmer. And I discovered it here. This was within 2 or 3 minutes of me starting to use it for the very first time, and it wrapped itself around just underneath where the spool is. There's a little bit of exposed column of the shaft of the strimmer, and you can see there that the grass has managed to get itself wrapped around anything that's long. And we've got a lot of, say, like creeping ivy and things, and along that section where I am alongside that fence just there, I cut that down using a strimmer. I've never ever had a problem with that, ever. And it's gone again. Literally seconds later, it's wrapped itself around again. So I've got to pick it away, and it's enough of a gap that long things will wrap itself around it, but it's a narrow gap that is very difficult to get your fingers into there. So it's what I'm about to do. I'm just trying to buzz off as much of the debris as I possibly can, but then I'm trying to get my gloved fingers in amongst there. I'll speed it up now because it really wrapped itself around there. And like I said, this was in the first few moments of using it, and it was like, maybe I might have made a mistake buying this. I'm going to carry on with the scrubbing, and you see I've got rid of everything. I've completely cleared the head, and you're going to see again in a few moments that it's going to do it all over again. You can see there's creeping ivy going up against the fence there, and there you go. It's gone again. I was a little bit disappointed by that. I've never come across that design. Now, I've got a cabled Flymo, which has never come across this kind of issue before. And I've also got a cheap throwaway cordless strimmer, which is the one that's just died, and that never had that kind of issue before. This is the first strimmer I've ever known that's had this issue. And also what I'm showing you here is the auto spool function. It doesn't auto spool very well. There's actually a button on the side of the spool which you have to repeatedly press to pull out the spool cable. because it doesn't seem to do it itself very often. It does it sometimes, but not all the time. So you can find that you're spinning the trimmer around and you can just hear a noise, but nothing's actually cutting, and you realise, the spool's not come out. So the cordless grass trimmer, I'm not so impressed with. However, the cordless hedge trimmer, I think is fantastic. Some people have criticised it, I've seen in reviews, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. This replaced a much bigger Bosch one. As you can see, we've got a lot of hedgerows, and I like the balance of this thing. It's much smaller, but it's still capable of doing all of our hedgerows, and it's comfortable. It's quite lightweight. It's easy to move around. I really have been impressed by this, and we have a lot of hedgerows. Cutting the hedgerows is one of those jobs that I really do not look forward to doing. But having this particular LawnMaster hedge trimmer, I won't say it's a joy, but it's so much easier than it used to be with the previous hedge trimmers that I have. I really do find it such a nice tool to work with. I know we always say workman blames the tools, but you've also got to praise the tools when they work well. Now, this was from the previous video when I did the hedgerow. I was going to do it at the same time as doing this particular video, but I'd already filled up all my bins and it was blowing a gale, so I chose not to. So this is what my hedges look like normally, and this is what my hedgerow looked like after I'd used this particular hedge trimmer. It really is a joy to use. I genuinely do recommend this hedge trimmer, especially with the 24 volt system. Now, I thought I'd just show you the comparison between a corded and a cordless garden tool. Obviously on the left hand side, these are the Bosch corded systems that I used to use, and on the right hand side are the LawnMaster cordless versions that I'm now using. Now you're going to notice that with the exception of the hedge trimmer, which is a lightweight system, the cordless versions are always heavier than the corded version because you're carrying the weight of the battery, which is a fair comment, but also you don't have the cable, so you're not being tethered by having the cable around, and that really does make a difference, especially with the hedge trimmer. It was just such a tiresome thing to do with the hedge trimmer, but with the cordless one it's so much better. The cordless lawnmower by LawnMaster is a lot heavier than the corded version by Bosch. The Bosch one is actually surprisingly light, so much lighter that I actually looked inside the LawnMaster to see if I got any grass in it. But no, it's just a genuinely lighter version is the Bosch one. And also, I'm just going to do a quick comparison here with the grass collection baskets, because the lightweight collapsible thing by LawnMaster, it has its place, but I prefer the more rigid structure because I'm not so bothered about folding it all up and compacting it away into a corner of the garage. I prefer the Bosch system. It's rigid, it's firm, it doesn't fall to pieces. I much prefer that system. Like I said earlier in the video, it's one of the few things I believe that lets the lawnmower down by LawnMaster. What I'm going to do now is just demonstrate how easy it is to take the batteries in and out of these things. So when you pull them out of your garage, your sheds, whatever, it's so easy just to snap those batteries into place and then off you go. That is literally it. It's just genuinely so easy. You're not having to trail cables around, you're not having to do the extension cables. I really have been converted by cordless power tools over the last couple of years, and especially garden power tools. It's so much easier, so much more delightful just to run out there, do your lawn mowing or do your hedge trimming or whatever and run back inside. It really is game changing. So let's come up with a bit of a summary for this video. We've been using these power tools now for 2 years. I was impressed when I first started using them, and I continue to still be impressed. The battery has maintained its performance really, really well. I don't see any noticeable degradation of the battery, so I think it's been really good. The lawnmower and especially the hedge trimmer have been superb. I always say the value of something is whether you would buy it again if you had your decision again, and for the lawnmower and the hedge trimmer, I would say yes. Do I feel the same way about the grass trimmer? Sadly, not at the moment. I may feel different in 2 years' time, but at the moment, I don't feel quite as warmly towards it as I do the lawnmower and the hedge trimmer. I do hope this video has been useful to you, and if it has, do consider giving me a like, a comment and a subscribe. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next video.